knowing when to go to war. Not everything means that it's wartime. And again, think about your relationship. If you enjoy your partner and you guys have a great harmonious relationship at least 88% of the time, then do we really need to go to war over this situation? Hi, guys. Welcome back to another Transformation Tuesday. And today we're working from the Intimate Partner Relationship Affirmations Journal Workbook. And today's core belief, today's ideal thought that we're working with for this Transformation Tuesday is going to be I am open and receptive to harmony. I am open and receptive to harmony. And let's get right into the reflection prompts, the journaling prompts. So the first one, do you know when and how to pick your battles? And this is so important, not just in intimate partner relationship spaces, but just in a lot of different relationship spaces. Understanding when to pick your battles. And this in no form is about silencing yourself or suppressing your voice, right? If something is really important to you and you need to get that expressed, be assertive and learn how to appropriately and respectfully express yourself and get your needs met. But this is more for people who say they want a happy relationship, say they want somebody they can get along with, say they want to be in a relationship that is harmonious, but they are nitpicking their partner and they are having an issue and a battle and a strong opposition to every single thing that is happening in the relationship. And maybe every single thing is a reach for me. I'm probably being a little dramatic when I say that, but a large percent of the time, they are nitpicking and sweating the small stuff in their relationship. And so you're going to really have to ask yourself right now, is harmony, do you even know what harmony is? Do you even know what that looks like? Do you even know how to show up in a space that would be conducive to harmony? And unfortunately, some of us have come from chaotic backgrounds or come from backgrounds where, you know, they've witnessed a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements, and they've never really saw examples or have blueprints of what it means to fight fairly, what it means to have a disagreement and be able to express yourself in a way where it doesn't turn out to be a battle, right? Not every disagreement has to be a battle. And sometimes you can disagree and respectfully disagree, but also sometimes too is understanding, especially when you're in a space where you and your partner have a high compatibility and you enjoy your relationship, you love your relationship maybe over 88% of the time, then you really have to ask yourself is the question, does the glass in the sink need to really be an argument tonight? Okay. And the bigger issue sometimes, if you're finding that there are just little things surrounding a certain theme that triggers you or that upsets you, then that's a bigger conversation. That's a bigger issue, right? And that's something that again doesn't have to be a battle, but that might be, instead of nitpicking every single thing, then maybe you might need to express to your partner how organization and tidiness, how much that is important for you. But you see, a lot of times too, some of this is in the vetting phase when we're dating someone or when we first meet someone, understanding this person's method of cleanliness or their lifestyle cleanliness, understanding what that is like in that person, and also understanding yourself enough to know, will this be something I can tolerate? Will this be too much of a red flag for me when we're in the relationship and this person is constantly not cleaning up behind themselves? And where, understanding, when I say picking your battles, right? Knowing when to go to war. Not everything means that it's wartime. And again, think about your relationship. If you enjoy your partner and you guys have a great harmonious relationship at least 88% of the time, then do we really need to go to war over this situation? Prompt number 2, sometimes peace is more important than proving a point or trying to be right. Okay? Again, you're having a good day, you're having a great week, right? Is this the right time? Right? And this kind of goes in with some of what I've just said, right? Understanding when to pick your battles. Is this going to be wartime? And sometimes peace is more important than proving a point or trying to be right. Sometimes right just because you have a perspective and you feel strongly about that doesn't mean that only your perspective and your strong feeling is right, right? Right sometimes can be subjective. And I think, when we go back to maybe 3 or 4 transformation Tuesdays ago, when I did that one about self-acceptance, right? Sometimes it's so important that we understand how to accept ourselves and how to accept our flaws so that we have compassion and understanding for other people, and especially the people we're in relationships with, because sometimes they think they're right too. Okay? You think you're right, they think they're right. And it's okay. It's okay to know that I don't have to prove any points. It doesn't have to be either or here. It could be both and. They can be right and I can be right at the same time, and this is important if we are open and receptive to harmony. We want harmony, but sometimes we're not open to it. We want harmony, and sometimes we're not receptive to it. So understanding, what does openness mean for me? What does being receptive mean for me? And if you want harmony, then you got to put yourself in a place where you're open and receptive to it. Okay? The third one is, do you really want harmony? Okay, do you really want it? Because we say we want one thing, but then our behavior is opposite to it. So, and sometimes I think we want harmony, but we might not understand what that looks like because, again, we've never had the examples or the blueprints, or we've had experiences in intimate partner relationship spaces that were just really tense. And sometimes we don't have the conflict resolution skills because what can happen, and now we get into like the world of avoidance and anxious attachment styles. And what can happen is when disagreements come up, people conflict avoid. And sometimes to get to the harmony, though, we do have to deal with a conflict or two. We have to face them, because running from them is also disharmony, right? You're creating disharmony in yourself and you're creating disharmony in the relationship by brushing things under the rug. So sometimes, and I know this is going to sound a little polarizing, but this is why it's so important to understand how and when to pick your battles, because there's things that you cannot people please in a relationship, because that's going to lead to resentments. And that's going to lead to people bringing up things 5 years later, 3 months later, that maybe your partner felt was probably resolved and not an issue. Meanwhile, your partner might keep still repeating that behavior unknowingly that, you're still having a beef about this thing. And so sometimes on our quest to harmony, we do have to face conflict, but it's learning how to deal with conflict appropriately and not be a wimp in your relationship, okay? If you're with somebody you care about and you say that you love, then vulnerability and transparency are key ingredients for a harmonious relationship. Talk about things, right? Find the right time and the right place. Learn how to get your needs met in your relationship so that you're not leaking energy that belongs in your relationship outside of the relationship, okay? And so conflict avoiders sometimes end up being the avoidance, And I don't want to get too much into avoidance and anxious because relationships, attachment styles, because that's a whole nother world. But this is when you're going to know if your partner is an avoidant based off of how they handle conflict. So, healthy, wealthy you. The spring small groups, the first one will begin on Thursday, April 16th. That's the Healthy You group. And the next one will be Wealthy You on Thursday, May 14th. This is a great opportunity to have a safe space, a private space with a small group of like minded individuals because signing up for this class would mean that you're here because you want to work on your core beliefs and shifting and really working on some of these unconscious scripts and internal dialogue that's showing up in unserving ways. So, register on the website www.carriewinchellLPC.com for these spring healthy, wealthy you small groups. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. The core belief, the ideal thought, I am open and receptive to harmony. The reflection prompts again. Do you know when and how to pick your battles? Number one. Number two, sometimes peace is more important than proving a point or trying to be right. And number three, do you really want harmony? All right, so thank you guys for stopping by today, and I'll catch up with you guys on the other Transformation Tuesday.